Hello, my name is Kara Griggs, and I'm a reference archivist at the Library of Virginia. This series will provide an introduction to pre-1870 African American genealogical research at the Library of Virginia. The population schedule from the 1870 federal census is the first attempt to document everyone in the United States by name. Prior to 1870, those who were enslaved were not listed by name. One of the most difficult parts of African American genealogy is finding information before 1870. Determining if an individual was enslaved or free prior to the end of the Civil War in 1865 is absolutely essential because it will determine the direction of your research. If you are researching an individual who was enslaved, you will need to research the slaveholder's records. If you are researching an individual who was free, that person may be listed by name in many records, such as census records, deeds, and tax records. How does one determine if an individual was enslaved or free? First, check the 1850 and 1860 censuses. If an individual is listed by name, they are almost certainly free. Slaves are included in the slave schedule for the census. The schedule is divided by locality, just as the population schedule is, but you have to look for slaves by looking for the owner's name. Moreover, the slaves themselves are listed by age, sex, and color. There are no names. These records are available on microfilm at the Library of Virginia and through databases, including Ancestry.com and Heritage Quest. If an individual does not appear on the census, then there is a good chance that he or she was enslaved and may appear on a cohabitation register. The proper title for these records is Register of Colored Persons Cohabiting Together as Husband and Wife on 27 February 1866. Slaves could not legally marry, but of course they still formed families. These registers were a way to legitimize existing relationships as well as the children who were born to the couple. The date of February 27, 1866 is based on the date that the General Assembly enacted the law to legitimize relationships and children. The registers were created by the Freedmen's Bureau and were placed in courthouses or remain with Freedmen's Bureau records at the National Archives. Another useful record to check is the Register of Children of Colored Persons whose parents had ceased to cohabit on 27 February 1866. These registers contain the same information as the cohabitation registers, except that it also notes whether a child's mother was living or deceased. Most importantly, these records contain the names of former slave owners. Transcribed and digitized cohabitation and children's registers are available on our Virginia Memory website. Another way to determine if an individual was enslaved or free is to look for any surviving free Negro registers. In 1793, a law was enacted that stated that all free Negroes and mulattoes who resided in towns had to be registered in their localities. The process extended to the counties in 1803. The information collected was increasingly detailed and re-registration was required. For example, in 1834, identifying marks and scars and method of emancipation, such as by deed or will, had to be noted. These records are available on microfilm. In the absence of free Negro registers, you may want to search for free Negro lists. In 1801, a law was passed that required lists of free Negroes and mulattoes to be submitted annually, along with lists of taxable property of the locality that included the names of all free Negroes and mulattoes, as well as gender, place of residence, and occupation. These records may be microfilmed or may only be available in their original format. If a free African American had his or her own household, it is also possible to trace him or her in personal property tax records beginning in 1782. There are numbers for free men and slaves over a certain age, such as 12 or 16, as well as information on livestock and household goods. For the most part, only those who were very poor did not pay this tax. These records are available on microfilm. At this point, you will hopefully know if you are researching an individual who is enslaved or free and be able to choose a research path accordingly.